Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler. This is another of these oddball episodes sort of looking back at a previous release that we have covered in a potentially new light in this case. What we're looking at this time is the making of Star Wars. Now, we've looked at the making of Star Wars as told by C-3PO and R2-D2 before. What have we seen in the past? Well, we know that it was a special that was narrated by William Conrad that aired on ABC in 1977, just a few months, actually, after the theatrical release of Star Wars. It aired in September, and it saw home video release fairly early on, and we eventually got a chance to see the 1982 releases from 20th Century Fox that were a double feature with SPFX, The Empire Strikes Back, which aired in 1980. We saw that in both American Laserdisc and CED form. This was our Laserdisc. And then this was the CED. We looked at both of these in previous episodes. We also, even before that, took a look at this release. This is The Making of Star Wars from 1995, hence the cover design here, where they had replaced the voice of William Conrad with Don LaFontaine, and this was available through a mail-away with, of all things, Kellogg's cereals. And then, of course, the original version with William Conrad was put out on the Complete Saga Blu-ray set in 2011, which, of course, also means it was re-released in 2015 as part of the Complete Saga reissue. But notice I said that before there was those 1982 double feature releases with SPFX along with The Making of Star Wars, they had done a previous single home video release. Now, we've talked before about the Star Wars films on home video, and we've noted that the first way you could get all of A New Hope, kind of, was the video rental library release in 1982. I say kind of because you weren't supposed to be able to buy it, but this is the one that some places were to essentially give you a lifetime rental for if you paid the amount that you would normally pay or more for buying a VHS tape at the time, about $80 plus. Then, later that same year, again, 1982, you could actually buy A New Hope on VHS, that original release. They're sometimes touted as the first Star Wars home video releases. That we know is not true. We've looked back at things like the black and white Super 8 reel, the short reel from 1977, and pointed out that, yes, you could get Star Wars home video releases on Super 8 back in 1977, they just weren't entire films. Well, The Making of Star Wars is another of these cases where you could make the Obi-Wan Kenobi argument, right? What I told you was true from a certain point of view. Which kind of makes him an asshole, but whatever. Yes, the first time you could get the Star Wars film A New Hope on VHS was 1982. Yes, you could get partial versions of the film on Super 8 in 1977. So, those are important landmarks. But what was the first time we saw a Star Wars product of any kind released on what we think of as traditional home video media of the time? That is VHS, or Betamax, or CED, or Laserdisc. That actually was The Making of Star Wars. It's that release, one of two releases, that I mentioned prior to 1982's double feature release. You see, prior to 20th Century Fox releasing The Making of Star Wars as part of that double feature, Magnetic Video released The Making of Star Wars as a standalone home video release. I finally acquired the VHS release of this, what is literally the first Star Wars VHS release of any kind. And that's what I want to show you here today. There is a corresponding Betamax and so forth. Those I have yet to actually see for purchase anywhere. Now, I put mine in a protective case. You'll see why here in a second. But we're looking at The Making of Star Wars, as told by C-3PO and R2-D2 here. From 1979, a full 3 years before you could do the video rental library or buy A New Hope. And 2 years after it aired on television, also marking 2 years after you could get those selected scenes of A New Hope on Super 8. Now, it's a very bare-bones release. It basically just goes into an FBI warning, magnetic video logo, straight into the special, and that's it. Now, I will not show you a digitized version of, say, the magnetic video logo. You can see that in other places on YouTube and such. I actually stuck this in my VCR to try to digitize that bit, and it almost ate the tape immediately. This is a tape as old as I am. I was born in October '79. This was released in 79. This is an old tape, just like I'm an old man at this point. Let's take a look at it, though, the actual product here. Now, this is my copy here. No top, no bottom. I'm assuming there used to be a top, but there wasn't at the time that I purchased it. Let's look at the tape itself first. We have another of those weird two-tone tapes from the time. Not a very spectacular little label there. Pretty bare bones. The Making of Star Wars as Told by C-3PO and R2-D2. Time 50 minutes. Copyright info, copyright 77, because that's when it aired. Magnetic Video Corporation. Flip it on the side. Magnetic Video logo, and then The Making of Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. I mean, not really a whole lot to the tape itself. Now, the packaging, when I bought it, they had sort of flattened it out here. So the packaging here, the edges look very much like the edge of the tape, except with Making of Star Wars as 2 lines instead of 1. The back is not about the product. It simply says, some of the other fine videocassette programs available are... And they give you a list of stuff like MASH and The Sound of Music, and at the end, for complete information, write to, and gives you the mailing address for Magnetic Video. The front is where it actually features Star Wars. It says up at the top, see the incredible secrets behind the most spectacular movie of all time. The Making of Star Wars, as told by C-3PO and R2-D2. Running time 50 minutes. Then copyright info, says videocassette, VHS format. You get a little window there to see the actual tape underneath. The copyright, again, of 1977, but again, this is the release from 79. It does have a copyright date of 1979 on the bottom there on the back. Now, there was another release of this. In 1980, they did another release that you usually note by the fact that over in here, there's a sticker, kind of a silvery sticker that says that it includes a preview of The Empire Strikes Back. They did a re-release of this in 1980 that simply added a trailer for The Empire Strikes Back to the tape, and that was it. Repackaged, slapped that sticker thing on there, as I'm assuming it's a sticker. I've only ever seen it a few times, and it looks like it's a sticker. Onto this original case, repackage it, reship the thing. But this was it. This was the first time that Star Wars hit one of the home media that it would exist on for years to come. VHS. The Making of Star Wars, 1979, by a company we usually don't even think of when we think of Star Wars home video releases anymore, Magnetic Video. Just thought you might want to see that because it is a landmark moment in Star Wars home video, even if it's a special that we've talked about plenty of times before. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.